Namaskar. Welcome to Vision of Asia Voice of the Community. I'm Ashok Vyas, and today, as we meet, we have just observed an important day dedicated to Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi's birthday celebrations events will follow in the next week's Vision of Asia. But for now, let us connect with the spirit of Gandhi ji and invoke a sense of love, peace, and harmony for one and all. With these principles that are backbone for a glorious life, here are the main events of today's Vision of Asia. We will take a look at the situation in New Jersey, which is also trying to deal with the effects of COVID-19, how reopening process is unfolding. We will talk to Dr. Ranjana Kulkarni. In This Week with Padma Shri Dr. Sudhir Parikh, we take a look at recent presidential debate. And then Dr. Surresh Reddy talks to us from Chicago, where mini AAPI 2020 event was organized. We'll also have Yash Pandya sharing about his candidacy for Edison Board of Education. And we conclude with a report of an event at Vaishnav Temple of New York on Purushottam Mass, which also included tributes to Dr. Arvind Shah. So all this coming up right after these messages. Stay with us. You're watching Vision of Asia, Voice of the Community. The world around us have changed. We are trying to settle into a new reality. And there is a kind of reluctance in opening up, and at the same time, there is a need to open up, and there is also enthusiasm for getting back to normal social and business life. How this is playing out in New Jersey, Dr. Ranjana Kulkarni talks about new surge of COVID-19 affected patients, process of reopening, and overall picture. Here are some excerpts from her conversation with Aditi Lamba.
Dr. Kulkarni, you just mentioned at high-risk patients. I know you, help a lot of patients that are heart patients that you are, directly connected with. What kind of interactions have you seen of COVID and cardiac now? And, the South Asian population is, a lot of the percentage of the South Asian population is at high risk with diabetes, heart diseases, lung diseases. So where do you see us fit into this, and what should we do?
COVID-19 now, as we learn more and more about COVID, we have realized that almost 40% of people who are infected or who are affected with COVID will have some heart issues sooner or later. And it's most of the times the COVID syndrome will come in two phases as far as the heart is concerned. The first is when the patient is admitted. First surge is when most of the times they present with non-cardiac symptoms. So first phase is the acute phase where we don't see much cardiac, but in the second phase, after first or second week, we start seeing people having irregular heart rhythm, congestive heart failure. One big issue that we see, it's a fulminant issue, is myocarditis, myopericarditis, which is infection or inflammation of the heart muscle, and then the sac that covers the heart or holds the heart. If during acute phase, if people get myo or pericarditis, it's a pretty severe inflammation. Post that, we are also seeing people presenting with arrhythmias and congestive heart failures. Another dreaded complication is COVID can cause the blood to be hypercoagulable, meaning that more likely to clot. And when that happens, the patients can present as acute heart attack if there is a blood clot in the heart arteries, or with blood clots in the lungs, if the blood clots do go to the lung arteries. And the third is stroke, if the blood clots do go to the blood supply to the brain. So those are the three very serious complications of clotting clotting issues with COVID.
Wow. That's surely very concerning. Dr. Kulkarni, how important is it for these patients to make sure that they are making up to all of their appointments, that they are taking their medication? We have seen recently a lot of people are choosing not to go to see their doctors because they're scared of COVID-19, not to go to hospitals, even when they may be having a heart attack. What do you advise to these patients?
Please take care of your heart. Please take care of your comorbidities such as diabetes, high blood pressure, because if you keep yourself healthy, you're less likely to get the infection. If you keep up with all your medications and appointments, your risk for COVID does go down. Most doctors' offices, if you're concerned about going out, are offering telemedicine visits. If COVID has taught us one good thing is how to do telemedicine effectively. That was the need of the time, and it's here now. So if you're concerned about exposure, then please schedule a telemedicine visit, get your blood work done at a safe location. Make sure you follow up with your doctors and keep up with your appointments and medications. Very, very important. Yeah. South Asian population is particularly at high risk because of our comorbidities. Diabetes is very common in South Asians, and that leads us to having a lot of heart disease. Right. So let's make sure we do what we can to reduce our risk.
Yes, for sure. Just a couple more questions left here for you, Dr. Kulkarni. The first one has to be, what could you tell us about the vaccination that everyone is anticipating? There's so much talk about it being available end of the year, it being available next year, its effectiveness. What could you tell us about it?
All good questions, but very few answers. We hope any vaccine, let's not forget that any vaccine takes usually several years to develop. And a lot of times we don't know the effectiveness of the vaccine till we try it out in phase 3 trials. And I understand that everyone is rushing Operation Warp Speed and all. Everyone is rushing to have the vaccine available. It's possible that a vaccine might be available. This being election year does put a wrench in that process. Vaccine probably will be available later this year or early part of next year. Most likely it will be available for selected high-risk groups, so probably first responders and population at high risk for COVID will get them. Efficacy, we don't know, because virus efficacy, any vaccine efficacy is not 100%. And sometimes vaccines have to go through several iterations to get it right. Also, let's not forget that sometimes the virus mutates. So the strain changes and the vaccines have to adapt to that. So it's not the silver magic bullet that we are all hoping for. Science doesn't support that. So we hope there is a vaccine by first quarter of next year. That looks like a little more likely scenario than not. But let's not forget, I will go back again to, there is a vaccine that's available, which is the flu vaccine, and all of us should take it.
Yes, for sure. Again, to everybody, take your flu shots. So important. Dr. Kulkarni, I just have 2 more questions left for you. The first one has to be, what is your biggest concern of the hour right now?
My biggest concern is the increase in the caseloads right now because people are dropping their guards. So please do the right thing. We don't want to see what we went through in April. And that's my biggest concern, that things have gotten a little bit better in New York, New Jersey area, but we are a very thickly populated area. If we want to go back to some kind of normalcy, I think we need to hunker down a little bit.
In this week with Padma Shri Dr. Sudhir Parikh, we talk about current issues. We seek his insight and input on our world, how it is shaping up. This week, we go back to last week's first presidential debate and the issues that were raised. Debate resulted into people's perception about the level of communication and the kind of dialogue which was seen. Before the debate, we talked to Padma Shri Dr. Sudhir Parikh on some of the issues which were featured in the debate. Here is his balanced opinion. Take a look. Namaskar. Welcome to This Week with Padma Shri Dr. Sudhir Parikh. In this show today, we will focus more on US presidential election, but there is much more that we would learn from someone who has served Indian American community for last 40 plus years as philanthropist as well as a successful physician, and he is very well decorated by Indian government as well as here with recognitions like Ellis Island Award or Padma Shri. And sitting where you are, Dr. Sudhir Parikh, when you look at this year's presidential race, what do you find unique this time around?
Well, the unique is usually at this time that there will be a lot of public meetings, public campaigns, a lot of gathering, a lot of traveling by presidential candidate all over the country, crisscrossing the country, right, north, south, west, east. But this time, because of the pandemic, unfortunately, everyone's movement is restricted. So it's completely different game. So still, even today, when only 40 days left for election, people do not have much ideas about president's Democratic opponent, Democratic nominee, Vice President Biden, because Vice President Biden left office 4 years ago, and after that, people has not seen him that much. The way he talks, the way he reacts, and what is his recent thoughts about the different issue affecting the country.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this is for the first time that because of the pandemic, both candidates won't even shake hands. Now, before we talk about incumbent President Trump, let me learn about your impressions with the hopes that people have from Democratic candidate Biden. Where do you see lies his strong point? They are projecting him as workman's icon.
Well, usually, conventionally, Democratic Party always claims that they are for workman's icon or workman's representative. But when you see a Democratic administration, sometimes it doesn't turn out to be or pan out to be true. So, of course, right now he tries to present himself as a icon for the working class, for a needy class. He wants to act as a Robinhood to take the money from the successful rich people and give it to the people, those who needs more help. Obviously, but that has also two sides of it. Sometimes if you give too much of help, then you kill the incentive, and that is completely contrary to American fundamental basis that America stands for the free society, free market, and free entrepreneurship.
Doctor, when you mention what you just said, reminds me probably you perceive Democrats tilting more towards socialism, but then capitalism or free market, free opportunity to grow has led to a situation where we hear President Trump is blamed for having evaded taxes. and the recent data shows that probably he didn't pay any tax for 10 years, and last 16 or 17 he paid tax only $750. Do you think this is going to play against him?
Probably not, because whatever tax manipulation his accountant or CPA has done, probably it's well within the legal rhyme and legal parameters. So it's hard to, I mean, we don't know detail of the whole thing, so I should not comment on that much. But I can say that obviously, if you look at anyone's, we all, I mean, whatever legally allowed, like mortgage deduction is allowed, travel deduction is allowed, this allowed, that allowed, some losses are allowed, right? So if it is so, which was done within legal parameters, and there is no unusual activity, then I think it won't affect the election, because everyone can relate to themselves. And as long as you are doing everything legally and legitimately, then of course it won't affect the election unless something comes out showing that it is not legitimate.
So that is going to take a long time. Actually, by that time we'll be over elections. So it may not matter much for electorate at this
Bottom line
moment.
is, I don't think it matters much, really speaking.
So of course, there as opposition they need to make hue and cry for whatever they feel may work in their favor. But we are talking before first presidential race. But in general, the one who moderates, do you see he plays a significant role? Like for this time in the first presidential debate, the moderator will be Chris Wallace from Fox. And Fox is known to be pro-Republican, and they have had good words for Trump many times. Do you see the moderator plays objective role, or it may favor one or the another candidate?
I think the moderator, like Chris Wallace, or even what do you call Dan Rather, or and I mean Cooper, or what do you call George Stephanopoulos, they all are in a category where I think they do not play any partiality or partisan politics, because they are at different level of their journalistic career, and people are trust them so much. So I think they always remains neutral.
So now talking
And
about
they do not let their own view or own belief come into the picture.
Now, Dr. Shah, talking a little bit about preparation that goes before presidential debate, and as you are aware, among those who are helping President Trump prepare are New Yorkers, and former governor of New Jersey, Chris Christie, as well as Rudolph Giuliani are also in that team. If, let us say, you were a part of that team, then what might have been your top suggestion for President Trump based on the way you have seen him in previous debates?
Well, I would say that he should stick to the subject without going kind of sideways, and keep all the debate and discussion very civilized, very calm, and very intellectual, so it can appeal to the audience.
So talking about the appeal for the audience, and we have seen he comes across very aggressive, and he doesn't mince words in sharing his opinion, and sometimes he comes across a little rude to his opponents. But the themes that we have heard are chosen in this debate by Commission on Presidential Debates, includes the reference of the Supreme Court. And this is a recent development. So how do you see what would be the justification from President Trump for his rush in this matter?
Well, I mean, this is again politics. In a sense, and it's a legitimate politics, because the Constitution says that sitting president has right to nominate the candidate while they are in the office, whether it's 4 weeks away from the election or 2 years away from the election. Then Senate and Congress has to decide, or Senate has to decide whether that nomination should go through or not. And therefore, a president's prerogative or is to nominate someone, and then Senate has to decide whether to pass through or not pass through.
So both arguments would be there for people to judge. We'll just touch two more references which are a part of this presidential debate. One is the economy. And do you see President Trump stands tall in terms of having delivered his promises, of course, related to economic growth of America, which includes reducing unemployment?
Yes, I mean, provided if this pandemic did not come through, actually just before pandemic in month of February, unemployment was less than 3%. That shows that he delivered very well. But obviously pandemic came and all the rules and regulations are thrown out, and the whole situation is uniquely unusual and abnormal. And therefore, obviously, because of the pandemic, because of whole medical situation, health situation, we could not, no administration can do anything but wait till pandemic gets over. And so the unemployment went up, obviously. But again, the good thing I think he did is, even though unemployment went up, he gave a lot of fund to the small businesses, gave special money to the people who lost their job, because not only they get only their unemployment, but they got only another what I understand is about $600 per week extra, and that really helped everyone in reality. So I think he did best he can do. I think it's almost $3 trillion aid he gave it to the to keep the people afloat, and I think it was commendable, and that's why even people, those who lost their job or who could not go to the job because of pandemic, they survived.
Absolutely.
Of course,
absolutely.
everyone has a hard time, but still they survived.
Absolutely. And that would go in favor of President Trump. But let us look at it from Democratic nominee Joe Biden's point of view. Have you heard of any different approach which Biden is offering for American economy? Where can he score more as compared to President Trump?
Right now in economy, I think President Trump is still probably overall is very strong than Biden because of whatever he did. Because see, what are the other options we had, other than government has to extend the help, monetary help to all those who were unemployed, all those who cannot go to work because of the viral situation, and all those all those businesses lost the clients because of the pandemic. So I think overall, economic side of the pandemic, I think, was handled pretty good. But other side is a different story.
So talking about different story and briefly touching on another sensitive issue with which opposition would try to corner President Trump relates to race relationship and violence which erupted in certain cities. Do you see it is going to make any adverse effect on President Trump's claim back to White House?
Yes, logically speaking, yes, it will make adverse effect on Trump's re-election. A lot of people will be mad at that, at the president handling that situation of race relationship, and it can be counterproductive for president, definitely. But at the same token, there are 42% of the population which believes otherwise, that all the illegal, unsocial element has to put down. So we don't know which side will win, but of course, I think on balance, president will have negative impact on because of that.
And now talking about another important aspect, which would be the final point for us in today's show, that relates to integrity of elections. President Trump has mentioned again and again this postal ballot may lead to some unfair results. And there are other charges which would also be seen in the light of his statement about not easily going to give power in case he loses. So talk to me, how do you foresee, because a lot of people would be casting their votes in a different way, unprecedented.
No, I mean, I agree that because of pandemic, obviously, a lot of people will casting the vote with the mail ballot. And I don't think there's anything wrong with the mail ballots as long as they have established procedure for that. And and the counting has to be there has to be some deadline to get the ballots. I mean, you cannot have ballot coming after 15 days and you want to count that. No, there has to be certain regulations how to do and when to stop accepting ballots, and as long as that is done, then I already voted myself, and I think I can see that they have taken a lot of precaution. So there is no kind of illegality or fraud in the sending the ballot. So that's I don't think that will happen. And what I understand, what President says, that he's not saying that he's not going to accept if he loses, but if he says that if everything is done right, then he has to accept that. But if it is not done right, then he has right to challenge. According to our constitution, anyone has to right to challenge in the court. And whatever court decides, just like what happened during the Al Gore and George Bush Jr. time, court will decide, and that's really in democracy last word.
Absolutely. I must congratulate you. You have already voted, and I think you are also a source of inspiration for others to follow. And as we wind up this session, your final words for our viewers.
Well, I mean, dear friends, I would urge each and everyone to definitely vote, definitely exercise your rights, because this is a right you get only every 4 years. And this is the only way you can express your feeling, your concern, your dislikes or likes. So please vote and be counted in the election. Thank you. God bless America. God bless India. And Jai Hind. Goodbye.
You're watching Vision of Asia Voice of the Community on ITV Gold. Today, this Sunday and every Sunday at 11 a.m. we bring you the weekly edition of Vision of Asia. And Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. we always have special editions of Vision of Asia, fresh and based on community events. We appreciate your continued patronage, support and love. Stay with us. We'll be right back after these short messages. Dr. Surresh Reddy is a bright Indian American physician And he has also been active on various community organizations, including being a leader of AAPI. And here are his thoughts at this crucial time at AAPI 2020 mini convention from Chicago.
Okay, good afternoon everyone. Again, I am the immediate past president of AAPI, president for 2019 and 20, and today we'll try to finish the last rituals of last year. That's the award ceremony in person. And as you know, we had last year was a very interesting year. It was a challenge, and AAPI stood the challenge test of times and did wonderfully. And we would like to, this whole movement of what AAPI achieved in the last 6 months or 3 months is amazing. It has put AAPI in every household in India and United States and globally, Britain, London, Australia, all over the world. So this could not have been possible without the support of the huge army of volunteers AAPI has. And we would like to recognize most of the volunteers and most of the leaders, most of the advisors, but it's very difficult because we have almost 100,000 Indian physicians, 14,000 are members. It's impossible in this time to bring their names, but we would like to honor as many as possible, and they will go through our routine chart. Initially, when we planned to do the whole convention, our goal was, ours is a sandwich generation. Dr. Arora, Dr. Medavaram, and Sudhakar, we combine, bridge between the senior generation and the younger second generation. So we are 1.5 generation, next generation, and we want to bring as many people as possible, but again we want to reach for the stars, but at the same time we want to stay on the ground.
Dr. Sudhir Parikh, publisher, India advocate, philanthropist, and physician, and the sole Indian-American recipient of 3 of the most prestigious awards. The Pravasi Bharatiya Samman is an award constituted by the Ministry of Overseas Indian Affairs to honor exemplary NRIs. Dr. Sudhir Parikh.
The Ellis Island Medal of Honor celebrates the richness and diversity of American life. 6 presidents, many senators, congressional representatives, and Nobel Prize winners are among the remarkable group of individuals who have received the Ellis Island Medal of Honor.
Padma Awards are India's highest civilian awards. The glittering ceremony was held at the Rashtrapati Bhavan in the presence of the President of India, Prime Minister, Vice President, and top dignitaries. The award was presented by President of India, Mrs. Pratibha Patil.
सुधीर एम पारिक, सामाजिक कार्य.
Dr. Sudhir Parikh, internationally acclaimed physician, publisher, India advocate, and philanthropist. Dr. Sudhir Parikh not only preserved Indian culture and traditions on a foreign soil, but also helped strengthen relations between India and the United States with his established alliance on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. Dr. Parikh makes history, attaining the 3 highest honors in the United States and India. He has created a legacy in the community for his multitude of recognitions and lifetime of...
The Sudhir Parikh couldn't be here, and we thank him for the support, and we'll mail him his plaque.
Good morning. Hi, my name is Dr. Sudhakar Jonnalagadda, President of National AAPI. Today we are here in Chicago. We are doing our mini convention, since you all know that because of the pandemic, our AAPI annual 37th convention has been cancelled. So we are doing a small mini convention today, and about 100 people are attending, and we just finished our CME session today. And we're going to have awards distribution this afternoon, and evening we have entertainment. And most important thing, we are all, because of the current pandemic, we're all together, and we're working hard as the frontline physicians and protect our community and protect ourselves. And I'm sure this pandemic will be over soon, and definitely we'll get some medications, vaccines soon, which will be able to cure this dreaded virus. Again, I wish you all well. Stay safe. Remember 3 things: mask, social distance, and hand washing. This is most important than treatment. Thank you.
Namaste, I'm Girish Thakar from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, as well as Clearwater, Florida. Thanks to Dr. Sudhir Parikh, we have been getting a chance to be in front of the audience throughout the US. This is a great honor and pleasure to be at the AAPI mini convention, and a first baby step in terms of the situation that we are all facing with the COVID. Thanks to the Executive Committee of AAPI as well as the Board of Trustees, they have taken this large step to organize a mini convention in spite of the COVID pandemic. I look forward to meeting several of AAPI colleagues as well as members here, and look forward to be participating in the future conventions. Thank you for invitation, and thanks Dr. Sudhir Parikh and all the team members.
Yeah, this is a mini AAPI convention because of the pandemic that is going on, especially the COVID-19 has been having a problem with most of the get-togethers. So that's why we need to do more of a smaller group, and also we need to make sure everybody wear masks and keeping the distance, etc. We shall continue following until the pandemic is over. So at least in the unusual times, I think this mini convention will be nice to have, so that at least we can present our views and the thoughts to the group and to the world what we are doing here.
Hi, I'm Padmaja Adisamali. I'm here to attend AAPI mini convention, especially during these times of COVID pandemic, and we couldn't attend the usual celebration of the change of God. Now with this modern facilities or modern thinking of arranging in these programs, few of us were able to attend this mini convention, and I'm here to participate in it. I guess we got to be ready for all these newly happening pandemics and infection, all these issues. So I am really enjoying. We had a CME this morning, and tonight there's going to be a gala, a little bit of relaxation and catching up with the friends.
Hello everyone, I am Dr. Meher Medavaram. I'm the convention chair for the AAPI convention for year 2020. It is really wonderful to have everybody come in for the convention. This was originally planned for June 2020, but because of the COVID situation, we had to cancel it, and we were doing this only because we would like to recognize all the doctors who are hard work throughout the year, and also really attribute to several of the physicians who have really fallen ill but are recovering, and some we lost. So this is a great tribute, and we would like to recognize each and every one. That is the reason for our convention. In spite of all the odds, we are following the guidelines of CDC, which is only 100 people. So the event is attended by about 100 physicians, and we are done an extremely well recognized attended event this time, following all the CDC guidelines to recognize the physicians. So I'm really honored and grateful to be the convention chair for this year, and also really applaud for everyone's volunteer work physicians, healthcare workers, and everything for this COVID pandemic, the way we are conducting, and we wish that pandemics be over soon. But again, a salute to all the healthcare workers and all the frontline workers. Thank you.
It is important that we take active part in life around us. Being active in politics is one way of being real and active participant in American democracy. American democratic system offers various opportunities to us for learning and participating, and Board of Education is also one such sphere where we need to apply and engage our minds. Yash Pandya recognizes that need, and this young man was at Umiya Dham temple where he shared his vision and what is it that prompted him to offer his candidacy for this position at Edison Board of Education. Take a look.
विशेष रूप से माता इस बच्चे पे कृपा करे, हम सब लोग की यही मनोकामना है। और ऐसे ही यश, आज तुम्हारी शुरुआत है, हम चाहेंगे इस तरह से खूब सेवा करो, ये हमारी कर्म भूमि है। और तुम्हारे माता पिता जी को भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद कि उन्होंने ऐसे संस्कारित बच्चों को पढ़ाया लिखाया। अब समाज के इस काम में जहाँ पे हमें बच्चों को, हमारे समाज को, जहाँ पर लोगों को इतनी सारी जो कठिनाइयाँ होती है उसके लिए इसको प्रेरित करके एक बहुत अच्छा ये 6 डिजिट 7 डिजिट की बड़ी कंपनी में काम कर सकता था, काम भी करता है, लेकिन इसने अपने जीवन का कुछ पार्ट निकाल के संकल्प लिया है कि हम समाज की सेवा करेंगे। सब लोग एक साथ इनके लिए ताली दें। यश पंड्या। और माता रानी आपकी कृपा करें, और हम सब चाहते हैं कि ये तो आपकी शुरुआत है, आप यहाँ से स्टेट लेवल पे और सेंट्रल व्हाइट हाउस तक पहुँचे और हम सब लोग मिलकर के आपको आशीष देते हैं। यस, थैंक यू। जय माता दी। जय माता दी। और पारिक वर्ल्ड वाइड मीडिया और हमारे भाटी जी भी यहाँ आए हुए हैं, और डॉक्टर साहब भी नहीं आ पाए, डॉक्टर सुधीर पारिक किसी वजह से नहीं आ पाए, उनको भी हम धन्यवाद करेंगे। वो भी जब सुने कि भाई ऐसी तैयारी है तो वो नहीं आ पाए, लेकिन उनकी टीम यहाँ पहुँची हुई है, हम उनका भी धन्यवाद करेंगे।
Now I am running for Edison Board of Education. I would like to bring my knowledge, my experience to the younger generations and share my experiences to bring and make better their brighter future. I've been in Edison my whole life. I've been there from elementary, from K to 12. Now I would like to bring this experience at the educational level, at a more citywide and statewide level, to bring some positive and some new changes. And I would like to be the voice for the students with the parents, and help bring the positive changes, help bring attention to a lot of the opportunities that we go through on a day-to-day basis, and more importantly to make the better future for our kids, our future generation in Edison, and help take that to our state level and our federal level in the future. So thank you, Pranam Badane, thank you Panditji, thank you Pramodji, Badane Pranam, Badano, thank you, Tamara support mate, and we will make change together. Thank you.
યશ પંડ્યા માટે બોર્ડ ઓફ એજ્યુકેશનમાં નવેમ્બર 3 ઇલેક્શનમાં એડિસન ગામ માટે રન કરી રહ્યો છે. આ સેમ પ્રેસિડેન્શિયલ જે ઇલેક્શનનું બેલેટ આવશે એ બેલેટ પર જ યશ પંડ્યાનું નામ હશે બેક સાઈડ પર બેલેટના. અને બેલેટ બધાને મેલ ઇન બેલેટ આ વખતે આવવાના છે બિકોઝ ઓફ પેન્ડેમિક. હમણાં બહાર બધાને જઈને મતો નહીં થાય એટલે વોટ બાય મેલ વધારે થશે. તો યાદથી બધાને ઓળખીતાઓને કહેજો કે વોટ કરે, ભૂલે નહીં, કેમ કે આપણા ભારતીયો વોટો નથી કરતા અને આપણે એમાં સહભાગ નથી લેતા. એ સહભાગ લેવું બહુ જરૂરી છે. આજે એડિસન આખા અમેરિકામાં સૌથી વધારે ભારતીયો અને સૌથી વધારે ગુજરાતીઓ અહીંયા છીએ, પણ અત્યારે આપણો એક પણ ભારતીય સ્પેશિયલી ગુજરાતી બોર્ડ ઓફ એજ્યુકેશનમાં કોઈ છે નહીં. એટલે યશ અહીંયા ભણેલો, અહીંયા ઉછર્યો છે, અહીંયાની સ્કૂલોમાં ગયો છે, એટલે એને લાગ્યું કે આપણું રિપ્રેઝન્ટેશન આપણું કહેવાનું માટે કોઈ ગુજરાતીઓ માટે અહીંયા કોઈ હોવું જોઈએ, એટલે એ રન કરે છે. બાકી આપણે જુઓ બધા આપણા છોકરાઓ બધું ભગવાનની દયાથી બહુ સારું કરે છે. બધા એન્જિનિયરો થાય છે, ડૉક્ટરો થાય છે, વકીલો થાય છે. યશ પોતે એક ફાર્માસ્યુટિકલ કંપનીમાં એક લીડ કરીને જોઈન થઈ ગયો છે, જ્યાં હજી એ સારી સેલરી કમાશે અને બધું કરશે. પણ અમને લાગ્યું કે એણે સમાજ માટે પણ કશું કરવું જોઈએ અને આપણે બધાની અત્યારે ફરજ છે એટલીસ્ટ આપણું જે નેક્સ્ટ જનરેશન છે એને માટે કે બધાએ હવે પોલિટિક્સમાં, સોશિયલ વર્કમાં, પબ્લિક સર્વિસમાં પણ આવવું પડે. અથવા આપણે ભારતીયો અધરવાઇઝ આપણે બહારથી જ બધું કરીએ છીએ, આપણે બધામાં આગળ છીએ. આપણે ભારતીયો તરીકે આપણી બહુ સારી અહીંયા રેપ્યુટેશન છે, ઇમેજ છે, પણ આપણું સે બહુ ઓછું છે.
Hello everyone, my name is Yash Pandya. I'm running for the Edison Board of Education this upcoming November 3rd elections. I am running as a product of the Edison School District. I have attended Lindenau Elementary School, I have attended Herbert Hoover Middle School, and Middlesex County Academy as my high school. I would like to bring my knowledge, my experience academically, recreationally to the board level to support education and support academics, support recreation for Edison students, Edison parents, Edison teachers, and make a positive change by being the voice for the students, by the students, and to the students. Thank you, and I'm looking forward to all of your support, your guidance, and to help the education system in Edison improve and become better each year. Thank you.
It's time for another short break on Vision of Asia, Voice of the Community. We'll be back shortly.
This month is also known as Hindu tradition Purushottam Mas. Purushottam Mas also has another name, Mal Mas and Adhik Mas, and it comes every 3 years. In Purushottam Mas, there are special decorations offered, different worships offered to the Lord, and especially at Vaishnav Temple of New York, every day has a new way of celebrating dedication and devotion. We share glimpses of one Manorath from Vaishnav Temple, and last weekend there were also tributes paid to committed, devoted and loving former chairman of Vaishnav Temple of New York, Dr. Arvind Shah.
जय श्री कृष्णा. अशोक व्यास ITV गोल्ड के लिए वैष्णव टेम्पल से पुरुषोत्तम महीने में जो विशेष मनोरथ हो रहे हैं उनमें से एक मनोरथ की झलकी आप तक पहुंचा रहा हूं. साथ ही साथ 1 बरस पूरा हुआ एक ऐसे समर्पित, सेवाभावी, आत्मीय, प्रेम और सकारात्मक ऊर्जा से भरे हुए डॉक्टर अरविंद शाह, जिन्होंने चेयरमैन के रूप में नेतृत्व प्रदान किया वैष्णव टेम्पल ऑफ न्यूयॉर्क, उनकी अनुपस्थिति भी प्रेरित करती है. स्नेह के साथ, श्रद्धा के साथ आज उनको यहाँ याद भी किया जा रहा है.
ये नॉर्थ अमेरिका की सर्वप्रथम पुष्टि मार्गीय हवेली जो 1988 में एस्टेब्लिश हुई. इस समय अधिक मास जो कि पुरुषोत्तम मास के नाम से जाना जाता है, पिछले 8-10 दिन से उसका मनोरथ और उसका उल्लास हम लोग मना रहे हैं.
પશુજીવ એટલે જેનું જીવન ધર્મ વગરનું છે. ધર્મો હિ દેશામલિકો વિશેષઃ ધર્મેણ હીના પશુભિઃ સમાનઃ. ધર્મ જ પશુ અને મનુષ્યને અલગ કરે છે. ખાવું, પીવું, સૂવું, ઊંઘવું, ભોગ કરવા તો પશુ પણ કરે છે અને આપણે પણ કરીએ છીએ.
पुरुषोत्तम मास में वैसे तो सेवा, दान, दक्षिणा उसका बहुत ही बड़ा महत्व है. हम लोग करंट कोरोना गाइडलाइन जो महामारी जो हम सब ने देखी है, उसमें न्यूयॉर्क गवर्नर गाइडलाइन वो सबको देखते हुए संभाल के 6 फीट डिस्टेंस, सैनिटाइजेशन पूरा ख्याल रखते हुए मंदिर में वैष्णवों को शाम को 6 से 7 दर्शन की सुविधा दूसरी बात, आज संडे को हमारे जो प्रीवियस चेयरमैन बिलव्ड लेट डॉक्टर अरविंद भाई शाह, जो कि सितंबर 2019 में हमें छोड़ के गए, उनकी पुण्यतिथि का 1 साल हो गया। और आज यहाँ वैष्णव मंदिर के पास में वल्लभ हॉल में श्री अरविंद भाई शाह का प्रथम पुण्यतिथि का हम लोग शोकांजलि भी मना रहे हैं। तो सब वैष्णव इकट्ठा हुए हैं। उन्होंने मंदिर की पिछले 32+ सालों से बहुत सारी सेवा की है। आज भी हम लोग उनको बहुत सारा मिस करते हैं, पूरा वैष्णव परिवार यहाँ का मंदिर का। उन्होंने अपने तन मन धन से बहुत सेवा की हुई है।
He also had this energy, almost like a positive black hole, where people were drawn to him. And I'm sure that everybody on this call felt him, or felt that happen with them. It didn't matter what the person's race was, their age, their religion, their education. People just wanted to be around him.
પવિત્ર દિવસે આપ સૌ જાણીએ છીએ કે છેલ્લા ઇન્સેપ્શન કે 32 વર્ષથી જે મહેનતથી આપણા લાડીલા ડૉક્ટર અરવિંદભાઈ શાહે પોતાના જીવનને અર્પિત કર્યું છે, એની આજે શ્રદ્ધાંજલિ રૂપે આપણે ભેગા થયા છીએ.
After being successful in the field of medicine, Arvind decided to put his time and effort to social causes. The biggest beneficiaries were Gujarati Samaj of New York and Vaishnav Temple of New York.
He could entertain everybody. There were programs after programs after programs. Ultimately what? To grow the congregation. That is the purpose, to grow the temple.
I hope, that he's happy. I know he's happy because all throughout his life, even, at the end times, he had one picture and looking at Srinathji and just talking to him, praying to him. And that's something that I think of. And I think of the connection, the worship, and the devotion.
He did all his work in his lifetime, whatever he was supposed to do. Nothing left. Finally he said, I have nothing left in my life to do. I have fulfilled all my wishes, all my work. And day before, that was September 14th, Jiraji Gavana photo mukelo, so he saw that photograph and he said like this, both the minds. He said, Sena mate wait kare che tu? I'm ready to come. Why you are waiting? Take me. On 14 he said, on 15 he passed away. So he was ready to go.
Time to say goodbye from today's Vision of Asia Voice of Community. But here is a reminder. You have a special opportunity of staying with us and watching some of our programs at your selected time by becoming friend of ITV Gold on Facebook, by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and keep writing to us with events, information, and your comments as well as suggestions for our programs. events@itvgold.com. Thank you very much for being a part of Vision of Asia Voice of Community. Lots of thanks on behalf of ITV Gold family with wishes for good health. This is Ashok Vyas.